A new bill backed by a bipartisan group of senators could prevent the Biden administration from lifting a pandemic border policy known as Title 42. Those lawmakers claim that without a detailed plan in place once that policy ends in May, the U.S. could see the biggest surge of migrants at the southern border in years. And the Title 42 controversy also jeopardizing a $10 billion COVID relief bill, with Republicans this week refusing to vote on that bill unless the border policy remains in place. Now, Democrats are accusing Republicans of trying to hold the COVID relief bill hostage. And our D.C. insider, NewsNation Washington bureau chief Mike Viqueria joins us live. All right, Vic. The decision to get rid of the rule that keeps the migrants out of the country during the pandemic, it's really causing an uproar.
Right.
But it's not just Republicans fighting the Biden administration here.
You know, you're absolutely right. And I'm right here in the belly of the beast in the U.S. Senate today, talking to people through the course of the day. And this is really an issue. You called it Title 42. The shorthand is simply that it's the rule that the Trump administration and then the Biden administration, most controversially, if you're a progressive, kept in place that keeps migrants out of the country during the pandemic. It divides the Democratic Party. And now we have, it's basically a Mount Rushmore, Nicole, of moderate Senate Democrats who are always going against the progressives in their party. They are trying to stop the Biden administration and the Center for Disease Control from enacting this bill. Let's have a look at who we're talking about here. They say politics is local. Well, geography is destiny. The two Arizona Democrats. Mark Kelly, he's up for election this year, and sort of the bête noire of the progressives in the Democratic Party, Kyrsten Sinema, who was last seen putting the kibosh on President Biden's Build Back Better program, along with Joe Manchin. She's there as well. Maggie Hassan from the swing state of New Hampshire. She's up for re-election this year. You've got several others. John Tester from Montana, a Democrat who somehow, through political skill, one would assume, gets himself elected to the Senate every 6 years. So these are the folks that are going against the president's policy, going against the CDC policy, and what they want to do is put the brakes on a quick lifting of Title 42. It's scheduled for May 23rd. As you described, they're trying to attach it to a COVID bill, a COVID relief bill, and that could really slow things up. And you just described the sausage making here in the Senate.
Yeah.
It's getting very complicated, Nicole.
Well, so Vic, really, what's at stake here, and really, what are the odds that these Democrats teaming up with Republicans can actually get this done?
Right. So $10 billion, that COVID relief bill, there was a closed-door handshake deal in the Senate. Nancy Pelosi in the House had signed off on it. The skids were greased. It was moving through. It would $10 billion for new therapeutics, for manufacturing and distributing vaccines as we head into the fall flu season and perhaps the fall COVID season. That was what it was for. But this was an opportunity for virtually all Republicans and the Democrats to put a stop to it, put a stop to Title 42, and try to attach this amendment to that bill. So that's what's at stake here, and the politics are very complicated. Even if it were to pass the House, even if it were to pass the Senate, it stands very little chance in the House. So nobody gets anything they want under that scenario. Title 42 would be lifted on May 23rd, and that COVID money would not be forthcoming, Nicole.
All right, so you mentioned Title 42 lifted here. This is really what it's all about, and Texas's governor, Greg Abbott, he's now threatening to put the new migrants that would come to the border. He wants to put them on buses, send them to the Capitol steps. But today, the White House responded.
That's right. Inevitably, that was going to be asked today at the daily White House briefing, and Jen Psaki, the spokesperson at the White House, this may not be a surprise. So you don't have to sit down for this, Nicole. She called it a publicity stunt on the part of Greg Abbott, said that the states have no authority to force people to get on buses. Border control, the border is a federal mandate. It's up to the federal government and its agencies to control the border. So she doesn't think that's going to be happening. We'll see what does happen when those, remember, the top end estimate from the Biden administration, 18,000 a day, up to 18,000 migrants a day. Would be crossing the U.S. southern border at the end of May when that rule, Title 42, is lifted. Nicole?
Yeah, we will certainly see what happens. Our Washington bureau chief, Mike Viqueria, thank you so much. We'll check back in with you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.